So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phalen, a weekly program here on LSN Television. And we're also carried by a number of our radio affiliates in Lancaster and beyond. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. And certainly the students at Fairfield Christian Academy, J.T. Burcham, the instructor, that really helped put this program together. And our executive producer is Kelly Roberts with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, and she does a terrific job putting these programs together, lining up guests, getting questions, and doing all the behind-the-scene work that makes this really a special program. And do appreciate the nice comments I get from our viewers and listeners about this program. Last week, we were talking about things that happened last year here in Fairfield County during 2013, and amazingly, we just kind of touched the surface, so we're going to have all of our guests back. With me is Sergeant Kurt Kern with the Fairfield County Detective Bureau, and Alex Blake, Lieutenant with the Road Division, and certainly, last but not least, is Lieutenant Churchill, our jail commander. And appreciate you all being back. And it was amazing because we just kind of touched a couple things last week, so we thought we better continue on with the program. Let's start this week with you, Sergeant, and tell us a little bit about some of the big events that happened within the Detective Bureau during 2013.
Well, along with what we talked about last week, one of the other cases we had a robbery suspect that we ended up charging for 5 different robberies.
Wow.
Where that was in April, and they had robbed the Zane Trey Station and the Millersport gas station. It was linked also to 3 other ones that were in the city of Lancaster. Along with those, he also went to Michigan a weekend and committed a couple in Reynoldsburg, a couple in Columbus, and a couple in Michigan.
Wow.
So I think it ended up being a total of 13 different robberies. And so the case was adjudicated, and he is currently serving time now.
Wow. Multiple robberies?
Multiple robberies.
Wow. What about burglaries? I think we've seen a number of burglaries last year.
Yeah, we've had a number of burglaries, and the same thing with the robbery. One thing I wanted to hit upon: a lot of the thefts and the burglaries and robberies are associated with the drug problem, and it's a direct correlation from they go out and commit the thefts to feed their drug habit. And over the last year, we broke up 3 different groups of people that had committed numerous burglaries.
Wow.
And it was all drug related.
So when you interview these suspects, they say we're on drugs.
Yes, very much so.
That's driving the crime.
Yep.
Wow, wow. Within the jail last year, major things going on in the jail there, Lieutenant Churchill?
Well, we got 2 grants that started. One was with Adam H. It's called Project Hope, and we got the Harold Rogers Prescription Drug Monitoring Program. Both are going to help treat our inmates with addiction problems, mental health problems. So Adam H. Board is on board with us and working with our nursing staff. We're having counseling sessions, either in group and individual sessions with our inmate population to help curb these mental health and drug habits. One of the bigger things is we had just under 5,000 bookends for the year, and roughly around 1,500 felony charges, and just a little over 3,200 misdemeanor charges brought into the jail last year.
I think people would be surprised.
Oh, I was.
I mean, that's a lot of people to book through our jail.
It was. It's been my first full year as the jail administrator. I got a grand overlook of jail operations and how it ran, and I must say that I'm very proud of my staff. They do a very hard job, and I'd say if anything, I'm just proud that I've got good people working for me.
So last year was the first full year you were the jail commander. What's the biggest surprise?
It was the lack of programming that was out there for our inmates.
Okay.
One of the things that we did do at our Wheeling Street facility is we took all of the male inmate workers that were in that building, and we switched them out with female inmate workers, because we found that our female inmates really had nothing to work towards, to try and be good for. So we've put this program down. So they help the kitchen staff prepare all the meals. They do the general cleaning of that Wheeling Street facility. They do all the laundry. They run errands. They unload the meal truck every other week, and they're just doing an outstanding job.
Great.
So proud of them.
Okay, Lieutenant Lake.
Well, on the same lines as the burglaries that have occurred, patrol deputies have actually, on 2 different occasions recently, been dispatched on a complaint of a burglary that was in progress, and have successfully made arrests shortly after the attempts at these burglaries have occurred. Once again, it comes back to alert citizens in the community, residents that keep an eye on each other's property. And statistically, when we make an arrest that on a burglary in progress, it's because somebody is part of a neighborhood watch or just a concerned citizen notices something that's suspicious, out of the ordinary, and calls us and gives us the information that we need to identify these people and stop them shortly after they've fled the scene, after they've attempted a burglary or have successfully completed a burglary. We had an incident over the summer of a road rage incident that occurred in our county, which is not something that happens every day. We had some people that kind of got aggravated with each other on the roadway and exchanged some gestures, and one thing led to another, and they ended up firing some shots out of one vehicle at the other vehicle. So it was and those people were located minutes after that happened and were arrested. So our road deputies are totally dedicated, professional people that respond in a moment's notice to these type of emergency situations and make arrests and detain these people and keep things under control in the county.
How important is it, Sergeant Kern, the working relationship between the deputies that are actually in the patrol division as opposed to the detectives in the detective bureau? Very
important. One of the incidents Lieutenant Lake was talking about, where they caught him in the act of committing burglaries, that ended up solving 12 other burglaries.
Wow.
After they got caught basically in the act, then they notify us and we go out and do interviews on these people. And I can remember back that interview of the one subject we were talking about lasted about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And during that time, it solved a lot of other crimes that happened. And with the patrol's due diligence to doing stuff like that, it just is a domino effect of how we solve crimes.
Yeah, I just think that relationship's so important. Going back to the jail, things that happened in 2013 that come to mind.
One of the bigger things, I had my first jail inspection, and that's just not something that's very enjoyable to sit through.
Yeah.
Being we are in need of a new facility, this was somewhat of a painful experience, but it was a good learning experience. It got me to understand that it's not a pass or fail. These are deficiencies.
Now, when you
within
say
the
a jail
facility.
inspection, that's from the state of Ohio, right?
Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections.
Okay.
I have a jail inspector that comes down, reviews our policies and procedures, inspects the facility, talks with inmates, talks with staff. So it was an eye-opening experience. I think it's going to make me a better jail administrator by going through something like that. And sadly, I'm looking forward to the next one.
And certainly the big story is the new jail has been approved, so there will be a new jail in about 3 years.
Yes, we've had several meetings since the commissioners, thank you very much, agreed to build us a new jail. And we've been working with the architects. I know that both Sergeant Kern and Lieutenant Lape have both given their opinions about how things should be laid out within the facility. So it's coming to fruition, and it's a fun experience.
I know when we went over the design of the Detective Bureau with my people who worked for me, it gave them a renewed excitement.
Oh, yes.
Looking forward
Yeah.
to getting into a new facility that has better equipment and better area to do their job in.
Yeah, certainly going to improve the environment
Yes.
of all of the employees within the sheriff's
Very
office.
much
Yeah, we're
so.
very excited about this.
Yes.
I think one of the bigger things is now when we need to have a meeting, or if I need to talk to the lieutenant and I want to have a face-to-face conversation with the lieutenant, right now I've got to get in my car, drive 4 blocks.
Yeah.
Now the convenience is I'm going to be able to walk down the hallway, and I think our productivity is going to increase tenfold.
Very much so. I know with the design of the Detective Bureau and the patrol right back to back, and with the exchange of information, it's going to go a lot more smoothly, and
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
And for our viewers and listeners today, we're spread out at a number of different locations. Diley Road, big arrest, big event last year, probably one of the biggest drug type
Right.
investigations we've had.
Yeah, it's still currently the investigation's still currently in progress on that. It's still not finished
Well,
yet.
tell us a little bit about that.
Honestly, I believe we initially got the tip on that. I'm pretty sure, I'm actually positive that it was out of a domestic type situation,
Right.
where the husband and wife had been arguing, and she had contacted our office and said, this is what's going on. And deputies responded to the scene, and while they were there, she said, well, this isn't all he's done. Here's what he's doing out here, and kind of pointed the way for them to take a look around. And once they did that, they realized that things weren't quite right, contacted the major crimes unit, and they responded to the scene, and the investigation's kind of going from there. But it's from what I understand, a multi-million-dollar operation that's
The synthetic drugs,
Right,
the containers,
Yeah.
copyright issues.
yes, yeah, and like I said, the investigation's still going forward, so I don't know exactly when it will be wrapped up, but it's definitely kind of eye-opening that things like that go on here in our county. So it's going to be a learning experience again for everybody that's involved in that. So hopefully they will end up with a conviction out of that.
Okay. Any other, we're down to about a minute left. Any other thoughts as we kind of wind down here?
Well, I think being my first year as a lieutenant and working with Lieutenant Lape and being so close with Sergeant Kern, I think that we've worked very well together. We've shown great communication, and thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
I say the same thing. I wanted to say something about the detectives that work for the sheriff's office. They're very dedicated. I've been at this office a long time, and they do a great job. They're very busy. They have a lot of cases. They have a lot on their plate at one time, but anything extra needs to be done. You don't hear any complaining. They step right in. They do a great job.
Yeah, and I think that's reflected really of the men and women throughout the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, whether it's the jail, whether it's the road, whether it's our civil division. We have a great staff of men and women in the Sheriff's Office dedicated, and certainly they do things every single day that the public probably we're not even aware of, but they are a group of great people. Well, the clock's on the wall. It's been a great program the last 2 weeks. We've talked about what happened in 2013, and certainly we want to thank you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week, the staff, the students here at Fairfield Christian Academy that put this program together, and Kelly Roberts, our executive producer. Until next week, same time, same place, God bless, and we'll see you right here.
You sure you don't want some? It's You are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.